The crisis began like a bolt from the blue. In the sleek boardrooms of Louis Vuitton's Paris headquarters, everything seemed normal until it wasn't. Late one evening, an urgent call shattered the calm. The company's top executives were informed that Chinese factories, responsible for producing a staggering 70% of Louis Vuitton's iconic handbags, shoes, and apparel, had abruptly halted all production. The reason? A sudden and unexpected political crackdown had forced the factories to shut down indefinitely. This was not just a hiccup, it was a disaster of epic proportions. Inside the executive suite, panic rippled through the ranks. CEO Alexandre Moreau, known for his icy composure and steely nerves, was reportedly seen pacing the floor, phone glued to his ear as he scrambled to manage the fallout. The shutdown meant millions of dollars in orders left unfulfilled, contracts in jeopardy, and an immediate cash flow.
This is what he's announcing today. He has said that the reciprocal tariff, this is Scott Besson who announced it, the reciprocal tariff on China, where we jacked ours up to 125 and then they jacked theirs up on us to 125 for all goods, is now going to 10%.
Crisis looming large. More shocking were the whispers that the board of directors was divided, deeply divided, over how to respond. Some members urged patience, hoping the shutdown would be temporary. Others demanded drastic action, fearing the shutdown was permanent and the brand's survival was on the line. A fierce argument erupted during a secret midnight meeting. "We cannot afford to wait," shouted Isabelle Fontaine, the CFO, her voice trembling with urgency. "If this drags on, we face bankruptcy. We have to sell assets, now." But the proposal to sell Dior and Fendi, the two crown jewels in the luxury conglomerate's portfolio, sent shockwaves through the room. "Dior is the heart of our empire," protested Jacques Lemaitre, head of brand strategy. Selling it would be admitting defeat. Yet Fontaine was adamant. It's not defeat, it's survival. Meanwhile, outside the marble walls of the headquarters, the news was leaking. Employees whispered about the shutdown and the brewing storm. Rumors spread like wildfire on social media, with fans of the brands expressing disbelief and fear. "Is Louis Vuitton going bankrupt?" one tweet read. Another fan posted, "If Dior and Fendi go, what's left?" As tensions soared, sources reveal that the company's internal communications turned toxic. Some executives blamed the Chinese suppliers for the sudden halt, accusing them of abandoning contracts and endangering the brand's reputation. Others argued that the global political climate was an unforeseeable crisis no one could control. But behind closed doors, a darker drama unfolded. According to insiders, the sudden shutdown was the last straw for a luxury empire already strained by years of overexpansion and questionable investments. While Louis Vuitton had maintained an image of unshakable strength, the reality was far less glamorous. Reports suggest massive debts had piled up, and recent sales figures were declining, something the public never saw. In a desperate bid to stay afloat, the board was forced to consider the unthinkable: selling off Dior and Fendi to wealthy investors in the Middle East. This decision wasn't just financial, it was deeply personal. These brands were more than business assets. They were symbols of the conglomerate's prestige and legacy. When the news leaked that Dior and Fendi were up for sale, the fashion world erupted. Fans, industry insiders, and even celebrities expressed shock. Social media exploded with hashtags like Chuck Save Dior and Louis Vuitton Collapse trending worldwide. The family behind the brand,
most of them are made in China, and most of them are made in our factory. Yeah, I'm telling you. But why these luxury brands never tell you that? Because they are trying to pretend to be products of some sophisticated European countries like Italy or France.
We are going to be successful. In a few weeks, the shop was open. We sell the most expensive products in a country where everybody was going by.
Arnaults were said to be left divided, torn between pride and panic. Meanwhile, tensions at the top escalated. A dramatic confrontation between Moreau and Fontaine reportedly ended with the CEO slamming his office door in frustration. "You're selling our soul," Moreau allegedly said. Fontaine shot back, "I'm saving it." As the crisis deepened, whispers of leaked internal emails and secret meetings began to surface online. One supposed memo detailed how the brand had tried and failed to find alternative production lines outside China. Another hinted at secret negotiations already underway with investors willing to pay billions to acquire Dior and Fendi. But the most shocking revelation? Some insiders claim the sale was orchestrated without informing key members of the Louis Vuitton family itself. This betrayal added another layer of drama, fueling speculation about power struggles behind the scenes. With the fate of the empire hanging in the balance, the fashion world waited with bated breath. Would Louis Vuitton emerge stronger from this storm, or was the empire's golden era truly coming to an end? And just when it seemed the dust might settle, a new twist was about to upend everything. Just as the boardroom drama reached a fever pitch, rumors began swirling about a mysterious figure entering the scene. An enigmatic Middle Eastern billionaire known only by his initials, SA. Sources say SA had long coveted a stake in the luxury fashion world, but had never found the mamo.
U.S. said the reductions will last for 90 days while the talks continue. So it's higher. We're definitely charging more for Chinese goods to come into this country.
Right opportunity. Now, with Louis Vuitton gasping for breath, he seized his chance. Insider reports claim he offered a staggering $10 billion deal to acquire controlling interests in both Dior and Fendi, promising to keep the brands alive, but under new leadership. This proposal instantly divided the Louis Vuitton family and board members even further. The family elders were outraged. Selling to an outsider? Never, one close family member was quoted saying. But others argued, what choice do we have if bankruptcy looms? Tensions spilled over into heated family dinners, whispered phone calls, and late-night meetings that lasted until dawn. Emotions ran high, with accusations of betrayal flying back and forth. Some blamed the board for reckless expansion, while others pointed fingers at global politics for the sudden Chinese shutdown that triggered the crisis. Meanwhile, employees at Dior and Fendi offices found themselves caught in the crossfire. Whispers of layoffs and restructuring began to circulate. One Dior designer, speaking on condition of anonymity, revealed, "The mood here is grim. People are scared, and trust in leadership is eroding fast. We don't know what tomorrow holds." Fans of both brands took to social media, expressing heartbreak and disbelief. One viral post read, "Dior and Fendi aren't just brands, they're legacies. Watching them get sold off feels like losing a piece of history." Behind the scenes, the drama escalated when leaked emails surfaced, suggesting a secret negotiation timeline that painted a picture of betrayal and desperation. In one particularly explosive email, an executive allegedly wrote, "The Chinese factory's shutdown was the final blow. We've tried alternatives, but there's no saving LV without selling Dior and Fendi. The family must be told soon, but the window is closing fast." The leak caused uproar, with many questioning why such a critical decision was shrouded in secrecy. Adding fuel to the fire, a former insider claimed that the decision to sell was made while some family members were deliberately kept in the dark, sparking rumors of a covert power play. There's a faction within the company that saw this as an opportunity to consolidate power by cutting out.
But Besant says the consensus as the U.S. met with China over the weekend was that we will reach a fuller trade agreement that, quote, neither side wants a decoupling. It's like it had to happen. The markets were just too bad, the bond market in particular.
Dissenters, the insider revealed. The company's reputation, once pristine, now teetered on the edge of scandal. Amidst this chaos, Alexandre Moreau, the CEO, found himself battling not only external pressures, but internal rebellion. Sources say Moreau's relationship with the board grew increasingly strained, culminating in what one insider described as a dramatic showdown during a crucial board meeting. Voices were raised, accusations hurled, and Moreau reportedly stormed. Out in frustration, leaving the room divided and uncertain, his usual calm demeanor was shattered, revealing the immense personal toll the crisis was taking. On the other side of the world, Chinese factory workers and managers were also caught in the turmoil. Reports emerged of factory shutdowns not just due to political crackdowns, but also because of unpaid wages and escalating tensions between factory owners and brand representatives. One worker lamented, "We never imagined our livelihoods would be tied to billion-dollar boardroom fights. Now everything is on hold and we don't know when or if we'll start working again." Meanwhile, the luxury fashion market reacted with shockwaves. Competitors smelled weakness and began aggressive marketing campaigns, eager to capitalize on Louis Vuitton's vulnerability. Social media influencers and fashion critics weighed in, some suggesting the empire's downfall was inevitable. Louis Vuitton's overreach was its downfall, one prominent critic tweeted. Fans of rival brands gloated, while loyalists desperately searched for signs of recovery. Just when it seemed the drama couldn't deepen any further, another bombshell broke. Sources claimed that behind the scenes, Dior and Fendi were already being quietly transferred to new management teams appointed by SA insiders, whispered about secret office moves, codenamed Operation.
These are pieces of artwork. These artisans train years and years to make one of these bags.
Fabrice is doing the last stitching on a Kelly bag. A Kelly takes around 13 hours to be made, depending on the materials that we make it. Our artisans, they need to do 4 years of training to be able to manufacture a Kelly bag.
Wilhelma says, "Made in China, does it feel cheaper?" No, that's not a quality issue. It's luxury brand washing.
Phoenix, aiming to rebrand and relaunch both brands without any public announcement. This only intensified the speculation and fueled conspiracy theories about a complete overhaul of the luxury world order. Despite the mounting pressure and escalating drama, Louis Vuitton's public communications remained eerily silent. Official statements were vague, emphasizing commitment to quality and heritage, without addressing the crisis head-on. Fans grew frustrated, demanding transparency and answers. This silence only fed the fire, prompting more leaks and rumors to surface in an uncontrollable cycle. As the crisis raged on, the global fashion community watched closely. Would Louis Vuitton's gamble pay off, or was this the beginning of the end? Was selling Dior and Fendi truly the lifeline that saved the empire, or a death sentence cloaked in financial jargon? The clock was ticking. Every hour brought new revelations, fresh betrayals, and deeper uncertainty. And just when many thought they had seen it all, a new, even more shocking twist was waiting just around the corner. Just as the world thought, the worst was behind Louis Vuitton. The storm was only gathering momentum. Behind the closed doors of the newly appointed management, tensions reached a breaking point. Reports emerged of secret meetings between the old guard and the new leadership installed by the mysterious billionaire SA. These meetings were anything but cordial. Sources describe scenes of heated debates, veiled threats, and a fierce battle for control of what remained of the empire. One insider who attended several of these high-stakes discussions revealed, "It was like watching a family feud explode. Old loyalties clashed with new ambitions. The atmosphere was electric with mistrust. The old executives accused the new team of trying to dismantle the very foundations of the brand, while the newcomers insisted that radical change was the only way forward. Emotions ran high, and tempers flared openly, shattering the illusion of unity the company tried to portray publicly. Meanwhile, word got out that some of Louis Vuitton's most loyal designers and creative directors were resisting the changes imposed by the new owners. A few even threatened to quit if the sale went through, fearing their artistic freedom would be compromised. One top designer reportedly said in frustration, "We are not just selling handbags, we are selling dreams. If that dream dies, so do we." The drama extended beyond boardrooms to the ateliers and design studios, creating an atmosphere thick with anxiety and uncertainty. Amidst this internal chaos, the Chinese factories, once the backbone of Louis Vuitton's production, remained eerily silent. Industry insiders speculate that the shutdowns were far more than just political fallout. Whispers suggest deliberate sabotage by competing luxury brands hoping to exploit Louis Vuitton's vulnerability. A leaked memo allegedly showed concern over unprecedented interference and warned that the factory shutdown might have been orchestrated to cripple the brand. Fans and fashion critics were not spared from the turmoil. Social media exploded, with speculation, some even accusing the company of fabricating the crisis to justify the controversial sale. A popular fashion blogger questioned, "Is Louis Vuitton really in trouble, or is this an elaborate PR stunt?" This fueled even more debate and divided public opinion. While some sympathized with the brand's plight, others saw it as the beginning of the empire's inevitable decline. As the public backlash grew, the Arnault family, long considered untouchable in the fashion world, found themselves at the center of a scandal. Leaked documents hinted at internal power struggles, with factions forming within the family itself. Reports suggest that one prominent family member was vocally opposed to the sale and allegedly tried to rally support against the board's decision. In contrast, another faction quietly endorsed the billionaire SA's takeover, hoping it would preserve their legacy in some form.
It starts with 30 distinct cuts of leather and can take 20 hours to complete, 4 hours for just the handle. Put the finishing touches on a Kelly, the most difficult bag to build. Artisans rely on their training and muscle memory to make every bag.
This is why this bag from our factory only costs you 1,000 USD.
Have you all seen that TikTok by the Chinese guy exposing how luxury goods are actually made? The only real difference? China ships the products to Europe, slaps on a made in France or made in Italy label, and boom, luxury? It's ridiculous.
This family feud added yet another dramatic layer to the unfolding saga. Insiders say the tension spilled into private gatherings, where once close relatives exchanged bitter words and questioned loyalties. The once unified front of one of the world's most powerful fashion dynasties was fracturing before everyone's eyes. Meanwhile, rumors of financial irregularities began to surface. Auditors allegedly uncovered discrepancies in Louis Vuitton's financial statements, prompting investigations into possible mismanagement or even fraud. These revelations cast a shadow over the entire sale process, with critics accusing the board of rushing the deal to cover up deeper issues. The company's public image was rapidly unraveling, turning what was once a symbol of elegance and success into a cautionary tale of corporate downfall. As the drama unfolded, employees reportedly felt caught in the middle of a war they had no say in. A former employee confessed, "It felt like the ground was shifting beneath us. One day we were part of a global powerhouse. The next we were pawns in a game of greed and power." Morale plummeted, and several key staff members quietly left the company, unwilling to be part of the chaos. Just when it seemed Louis Vuitton couldn't face more upheaval, the final blow came from an unexpected source. A high-profile celebrity ambassador, whose endorsement was a cornerstone of the brand's recent campaigns, publicly severed ties, citing irreconcilable differences and dissatisfaction with the brand's handling of the crisis. This public break sent shockwaves through the fashion community and triggered a sharp decline in consumer confidence. With every new twist, the question lingered: could Louis Vuitton weather this unprecedented storm? Or was this the beginning of the end for a brand that once defined luxury itself? The world waited anxiously, eyes fixed on what would happen next as the luxury empire teetered on the edge of collapse. As Louis Vuitton stood at the crossroads of its fate, whispers of an unexpected comeback began to circulate. The billionaire SA, whose shadow loomed large over the entire crisis, was rumored to be planning a bold move to restore the brand's former glory. Sources close to him claimed he was assembling a dream team of designers, marketers, and strategists to spearhead a revolutionary relaunch that could redefine luxury fashion forever. This news brought a flicker of hope to anxious employees and loyal fans, but also skepticism from industry watchers who questioned whether such a drastic turnaround was even possible. Meanwhile, the Arnault family remained deeply divided. Some members reportedly began exploring legal avenues to block the sale of Dior and Fendi, arguing that the deal was rushed and lacked transparency. This legal battle threatened to drag on for months, putting even more strain on an already fragile company. Behind closed doors, tempers flared as accusations of betrayal and greed resurfaced, with family dinners turning into tense negotiations, rather than celebrations. "It's no longer just about fashion," one insider remarked. "This has become a battle for control and legacy." Amidst this turmoil, the consumer backlash intensified. Loyal customers expressed their disappointment on social media, with hashtags calling for boycotts and demanding clearer answers from the brand. Fashion forums buzzed with debates over whether Louis Vuitton could ever regain its status after such a public unraveling. Retail analysts warned that the company's market share was at risk as competitors swooped in to capture disillusioned buyers. The luxury industry, once confident in Louis Vuitton's dominance, now viewed it as vulnerable, opening doors for challengers to rise. Adding to the chaos, investigative journalists uncovered startling details about the working conditions in the Chinese factories before their sudden shutdown. Reports revealed months of mounting tensions, unpaid wages, and unsafe environments that had gone unnoticed by the global.
This Himalaya virgin from boutique cost you $66,000. But do you know what the real cost from our factory? Let me show you the numbers. First, the leather. This Himalaya footwear leather is supplied by the company HCP from front. And one piece of this Himalaya leather costs 1,300. One for the front, one for the back, and another one on the two sides. So 3 pieces is 3,900. Interior lining is imported lambskin, and the cost is about $200. Also, exactly the same brand. 25 hardware is set to $700. And the $350. And as last, so cost for this 30-year experienced artisan's labor and skills is $700. Same material from the same supplier for those boutique bags by our factory is $6,000. This Himalaya virgin from boutique cost you $66,000. But do you know what the real cost from our factory? Let me show you the numbers. First, the leather. This Himalaya footwear leather is supplied by the company HCP from front. And one piece of this Himalaya leather costs 1,300. One for the front, one for the back, and another one on the two sides. So 3 pieces is 3,900. Interior lining is imported lambskin, and the cost is about $200. Also, exactly the same brand. 25 hardware is set to $700. And the $350.
Brands executives.
And as last,
This expose sparked outrage among human rights advocates and put Louis Vuitton's commitment to ethical practices under harsh scrutiny. The brand's carefully crafted image of exclusivity and quality was now marred by accusations of exploitation, forcing it into damage control mode. In a surprising turn, some former executives came forward with claims that the crisis had been brewing for years, hidden beneath layers of glossy marketing and record-breaking sales figures. They alleged that rapid expansion, over-reliance on outsourced manufacturing, and internal complacency had sown the seeds of collapse long before the Chinese factories halted production. Their testimonies painted a picture of a company struggling to keep pace with changing markets and consumer expectations, unwilling or unable to adapt in time. As if the saga wasn't dramatic enough, rumors began swirling about a possible rescue bid from another luxury conglomerate, eager to acquire Louis Vuitton's remaining assets and salvage its brands. Speculation named several industry giants, each weighing the risks and rewards of stepping into a highly volatile situation. For Louis Vuitton, this prospect was a double-edged sword. While a buyout could mean survival, it would also mark the end of an era under the Arnault family's reign. Despite the chaos, one thing remained clear. The luxury fashion world was witnessing a historic upheaval. Louis Vuitton, once untouchable, was now at the mercy of forces beyond its control: global politics, shifting consumer values, family drama, and fierce corporate battles. The empire's fate hung in the balance, with every move scrutinized by fans, critics, and rivals alike. As the dust settled temporarily, questions remained unanswered. Would the billionaire SA's vision succeed? Could the Arnault family reconcile and save their legacy? Would loyal customers return? Or was the brand's reputation too damaged to recover? The answers would unfold in the coming months. But one thing was certain: this was far from the end of Louis Vuitton's story. The drama, intrigue, and high stakes were just beginning, and the world would be watching every twist and turn. The Louis Vuitton saga is far from over. What began as a shocking revelation about financial turmoil has spiraled into a high-stakes battle filled with family betrayals, secret deals, and ruthless power plays. Fans around the world are left wondering, will the brand that once defined luxury rise from the ashes, or is this the beginning of its downfall? With billionaire Sa's takeover looming and the Arnault family divided like never before, every move could change the future of fashion forever. But here's where you come in. What do you think? Is selling Dior and Fendi the lifeline Louis Vuitton desperately needed, or a fatal mistake? Will the legal battles tear the family apart beyond repair? Can the brand regain its iconic status, or has the damage already been done? Your opinion matters in this unfolding drama. If you've been shocked, intrigued, or just can't wait to see what happens next, make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe to our channel to stay updated with every explosive twist in this saga. And don't forget to drop your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think Louis Vuitton can survive this crisis, or is the empire crumbling for good? Stay tuned because this story is still evolving, and you won't want to miss a single moment of the drama. The world of luxury.